Hello, my beautiful Cancer. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here right now, because what I'm about to share with you about true love entering your life is something you really need to hear. Before we dive in, this is a general reading for entertainment purposes. I'm interpreting the energy I see in these cards, so take what resonates with your heart and leave what doesn't. This isn't meant to replace professional advice, but rather give you insight into the love energy surrounding you. Get comfortable. Maybe grab something to drink, because we're going deep today. The cards are revealing something profound about true love coming into your world, and more importantly, exactly how you'll recognize this person when they arrive. Your Cancer intuition is legendary, that deep emotional knowing you carry, and it's about to become your superpower in identifying your person. This isn't about Hollywood drama or fairy tale moments. What's coming is real, grounded, authentic love. The universe is bringing someone who matches your emotional depth, someone who understands that love is a choice and a commitment, not just butterflies and excitement. You're going to recognize them through signs that speak directly to your soul, through energy that your body will respond to before your mind even catches up. I pulled 10 cards for you, and the story unfolding here is breathtaking. It's about release, recognition, joy, passion, balance, destiny, speed, practicality, truth, and ultimately, the ending of loneliness. Let's begin. The first card lands, and it's the Five of Cups. You might wonder why we're starting a love reading about someone coming in with a card of loss and grief, but Cancer, this is exactly where your story begins. This card shows someone standing before 3 spilled cups, focused entirely on what's been lost, while 2 full cups stand behind them, waiting to be noticed. The figure wears a black cloak of mourning, and there's a bridge in the distance offering passage to something new, but they haven't turned around yet to see any of it. You've experienced real heartbreak. Maybe recently, maybe you've been carrying it for years. There have been relationships where you poured everything you had into someone who couldn't reciprocate at that level. You loved people who took your nurturing nature for granted, who drained your emotional cup without ever refilling it. Some of you gave years to someone who was never going to choose you the way you chose them. Others went through betrayals that shattered your trust in love itself. The wounds are real, and they run deep, because when Cancer loves, you love with your entire soul. But here's what the cards want you to understand. This mourning process you've been in, this honest look at what didn't work and why, this is actively preparing you to recognize what will work. You can't appreciate authentic love until you've fully acknowledged what counterfeit love looked like in your life. The Five of Cups is showing that you're in the final stages of this release. You're starting to turn around. You're beginning to see those 2 cups still standing, still full, still available to you. The bridge is there, ready for you to cross into something new. The first major sign that true love is approaching lives in this card. You're becoming emotionally available in a completely transformed way. Not the naive openness of someone who hasn't been hurt, but the conscious, intentional openness of someone who has been through fire and chose to keep their heart soft anyway. That takes tremendous courage and strength. Many people close down after heartbreak, build walls so high that nothing can get in, good or bad. But you're doing the harder, braver thing. You're processing, healing, and remaining open to possibility. This shift in you is essential, because the person coming needs to meet you in this healed state. They need to encounter the version of you who knows your worth, who has clear standards, who understands the difference between real love and trauma bonding or codependency. The Five of Cups, painful as it feels, is creating the foundation for everything beautiful that's about to build. You're learning that closing your heart to protect it from pain also closes it to joy, connection, and the very love you've been praying for. So you're making a different choice. You're choosing hope over fear, openness over protection, possibility over resignation. Something is shifting in your energy right now. Maybe you've noticed you're not obsessing over the past as much. Maybe you're having moments where you feel genuinely excited about your future instead of dreading it. Maybe you're catching yourself believing that good love is possible for you, even after everything you've been through. These are signs that your emotional cup is refilling, that you're ready to turn around and walk across that bridge into a new chapter. The person meant for you is waiting on the other side, but you had to complete this healing journey first. You had to learn these lessons. You had to become who you needed to be to sustain real love when it arrives. Now the Page of Swords appears, and the energy completely shifts. If the Five of Cups was about emotional processing, the Page of Swords is about mental clarity, cutting through every illusion. This young figure stands alert, sword raised high, eyes scanning the horizon. The wind whips around them, clouds move rapidly, suggesting an environment of constant change and uncertainty, yet they remain focused and sharp. This page is ready for truth, hungry for it actually, unwilling to accept anything less. You're developing a completely new relationship with honesty and communication in romantic contexts. After being lied to, after accepting excuses that didn't hold up under scrutiny, after believing words that never matched actions, you're done with all of it. The Page of Swords represents this awakening in you. You're asking better questions now. You're noticing details you used to overlook because you wanted so badly to believe the best in people. You're paying attention to inconsistencies that you previously explained away or convinced yourself didn't matter. This is profound growth for you, Cancer. Your emotional, intuitive nature is one of your greatest gifts, but it can sometimes cloud your judgment when your heart wants something to work out. You can fall into the pattern of feeling so deeply for someone's potential that you ignore who they actually are right now. You sense what they could become and invest in that future version instead of dealing with the present reality. The Page of Swords is teaching you to balance your emotional intelligence with mental discernment, your heart wisdom with your head wisdom. The second sign you'll recognize your true love by is this. They will communicate with complete clarity and directness. There will be no games, no manipulation, no strategic withholding of information to keep you guessing or maintain power. When they're interested, you'll know it through their words and actions aligning perfectly. When they need space, they'll communicate that honestly, instead of disappearing and leaving you to wonder what happened. When they make a commitment, they follow through. And if something prevents them from following through, they communicate proactively about it. This person respects your intelligence too much to try manipulating or deceiving you. You've been in situations where you had to become a detective in your own relationship, checking timestamps, analyzing word choices, comparing what they said today to what they said last week, looking for clues about where you actually stand with them. That exhausting dynamic isn't love, it's anxiety. The Page of Swords is cutting through all of that confusion, creating space for something so much healthier. Your person values transparency as much as you do. They understand that trust is built through consistent honesty, not through keeping you off balance. There's another layer here. This person is going to value intellectual connection alongside emotional connection. They want real conversations with you. They want to know how you think, not just how you feel. They want to discuss ideas, philosophies, current events, dreams for the future. They want to understand your mind. This might feel refreshing after relationships where emotional intensity was present, but mental stimulation was lacking. You're going to have conversations that last for hours, where you both challenge each other in growth-producing ways, where you're learning and expanding together. The Page of Swords also suggests this person stays curious. They ask questions. They want to understand you deeply. They don't assume they know everything about you after a few dates. This keeps the relationship dynamic and interesting instead of stagnant. The third card reveals itself, and it's the Page of Wands. And Cancer, everything just brightened. If the Page of Swords brought mental clarity, The Page of Wands brings passionate enthusiasm and childlike wonder. This page holds a staff that's sprouting with new growth, standing in a desert landscape that suggests potential waiting to bloom. They're looking at their wand with fascination and excitement, seeing possibilities where others might see just a stick. This is someone who approaches life with genuine optimism, who believes in magic and growth and transformation. This energy represents what your true love is going to bring into your world. After everything you've processed, after developing the sharp discernment you needed, you're finally ready to receive someone who makes life feel exciting again. They're going to remind you of dreams you set aside, passions you stopped pursuing, adventures you convinced yourself you were too old or too hurt or too busy for. They're going to invite you back into joy without pressuring you, without dismissing your depth or your need to process emotions. What strikes me about this card appearing here is that it shows someone who hasn't become jaded. They have their own history, their own wounds, their own disappointments, but they haven't let any of that close their heart or dim their inner light. They still believe love is possible. They still get excited about new experiences. They still approach relationships with hope instead of cynicism. This is going to feel like fresh air for you, Cancer. You need someone who can match your capacity for deep feeling without getting stuck in heaviness. You need someone who understands that life is meant to be lived fully, not just survived. The third sign that this person is truly yours will be how they make you feel about life itself. When you're with them, laughter comes more easily. You find yourself more willing to try things that usually feel outside your comfort zone. You feel younger in spirit, lighter in energy, more optimistic about possibilities. They're reigniting that spark in you that disappointment tried to extinguish. But this isn't toxic positivity or spiritual bypassing. This person isn't going to tell you to just get over your feelings or stop being so sensitive. They honor your emotional depth while also showing you that it's safe to experience joy again. That being happy doesn't mean you're naive or setting yourself up for pain. This might show up in beautifully simple ways. Maybe they surprise you with spontaneous plans. Maybe they introduce you to hobbies or activities that become new shared passions. Maybe they're the kind of person who notices beauty in ordinary moments and points it out, teaching you to see the world through wonder again. Being around them feels like coming back to life after a long winter. Colors seem brighter, food tastes better, music moves you more deeply. This is what happens when you connect with someone whose energy complements and elevates yours. They're not trying to fix you or change you. They're simply inviting you to remember all the parts of yourself that heartbreak buried. They're helping you rediscover your own light. The fourth card comes forward, and it's the Ace of Wands, pure creative fire, pure potential, pure beginning. An ace is always a gift from the universe, a door opening, an opportunity arriving. In the suit of wands, governing passion, sexuality, inspiration, and life force energy. This tells me what's coming for you isn't just a relationship. This is a complete rebirth of your romantic and creative life. The hand emerging from the cloud offers this vibrant, living wand with leaves sprouting from it. The universe is saying yes to your prayers. New beginnings aren't just possible, they're already in motion. The Ace of Wands energy is unmistakable when it arrives. You know how sometimes you meet someone and you're kind of interested, but also kind of unsure, and you have to convince yourself to give it a chance or talk yourself into seeing where it goes? This is the opposite of that. The Ace of Wands is instant recognition, immediate chemistry, undeniable attraction. Your body responds before your mind has time to analyze. You feel pulled toward this person like a magnet. There's electricity when you're near them, excitement that you can't quite explain or rationalize. But here's what makes this different from past attractions that burned bright and fast before fizzling into nothing. You've done the work. You've healed the wounds of the Five of Cups. You've developed the discernment of the Page of Swords. You've opened yourself back up to joy with the Page of Wands. So when this ace arrives, when this spark ignites, you're actually ready to build something real with it. You're not just chasing the high of new relationship energy. You're capable of channeling this passion into something sustainable and lasting. The Ace of Wands also represents a completely fresh approach to relationships for you. Everything you thought you knew about what you need, about what your type is, about what works for you romantically, some of that is about to be challenged and expanded. This person might not fit your usual checklist. They might come from a different background, have different interests, approach life in ways you didn't expect your partner to approach it. But that's actually perfect, because your usual patterns, your usual type, those haven't led to lasting love, have they? The universe is bringing you something different, because you're ready for different. You're ready for better. You're ready for real. This new beginning energy asks something of you too. You're being called to take inspired action when opportunity presents itself. Some of you have been waiting to feel completely healed, waiting to have all your issues resolved, waiting to be absolutely certain before putting yourself out there again. The Ace of Wands says, the time is now. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have everything figured out. You just have to be willing to say yes when this energy arrives. You have to be willing to follow that spark of attraction, to lean into possibility instead of pulling back into protection mode. Trust that you're not the same person who got hurt before. You're wiser now, stronger now, clearer about what you want and what you won't accept. You can handle this new beginning because you've earned it through every hard lesson and every moment of healing. The fifth card appears, and it's the Six of Pentacles, shifting our focus to something critically important. This card shows a figure with balanced scales, distributing coins to those who need them. But this isn't just about material giving. This is about the flow of energy in relationships, about reciprocity, about give and take existing in healthy balance. After the Five of Cups showed you giving everything and being left with loss, the Six of Pentacles reveals a completely different dynamic coming. Your person is going to be a genuine giver, not a taker disguised as a receiver. They're going to show up for you in practical, tangible, consistent ways. They contribute to the relationship with their time, their energy, their resources, their full attention and presence. You won't feel like you're chasing them, or convincing them to care, or settling for breadcrumbs of affection, while you provide full meals of devotion. The scales on this card are balanced, and that's exactly what you're going to experience. When you give, they give. When you show up, they show up. When you're vulnerable, they meet you with vulnerability. When you invest, they invest equally. This reciprocity is going to feel almost foreign initially, because you're so accustomed to overgiving, to being the one who loves harder, tries harder, sacrifices more. You've been in dynamics where you were constantly proving your worth, or earning someone's affection, or working to keep their interest. That imbalance was never love. That was you trying to purchase with effort and devotion what should have been freely given from a place of genuine care. The Six of Pentacles is showing you that those days are over. You're done accepting less than mutual investment. What strikes me about this card is that your person is going to be generous in ways that specifically matter to you. They pay attention to your needs, your love language, what makes you feel valued and cherished. Maybe you need words of affirmation, and they tell you regularly how much you mean to them. Maybe you need quality time, and they prioritize being fully present with you instead of distracted or half there. Maybe you need acts of service, and they show love through helping and supporting you in practical ways. Maybe you need physical touch, and they're naturally affectionate in ways that make you feel secure and desired. The beautiful part is, they don't make you beg for what you need, or make you feel needy for having needs. They see meeting your needs as an honor, not a burden. There's no scorekeeper in this relationship. No one is tallying who did more, or who sacrificed more, or who deserves more appreciation. The Six of Pentacles shows natural, effortless generosity flowing in both directions. You're both invested in each other's happiness and well-being. You both find genuine joy in giving to each other. There's no resentment building, no feeling used or taken advantage of, no sense that the relationship is unequal. And when there is temporary imbalance, because life happens, and sometimes one person needs more support for a period, the other gives it freely, knowing the favor will be returned when roles reverse. This is mature love. This is real partnership. This is what you've been waiting for without maybe even knowing you could ask for it. Now the Wheel of Fortune turns into your reading. And Cancer, this is such a powerful affirmation of divine timing and cosmic orchestration. The wheel shows us that everything moves in cycles, that what descends must rise again, that fortune is always turning, always moving, never static. After your period of loss and healing and waiting, your wheel is turning toward blessing and abundance in love. The universe operates in seasons, and you've been in winter when it comes to romance. A time of dormancy, rest, internal growth, healing that had to happen in the darkness. But spring is arriving. The wheel is turning. Everything is about to shift in your favor. What I love about this card appearing here is that it releases you from the pressure to force or control outcomes. You don't have to have all the answers right now. You don't need to know exactly when or where or how you're going to meet this person. You just have to trust that the universe has a plan, that timing is being orchestrated behind the scenes in ways you can't see yet, that everything is unfolding exactly as it needs to for your highest good. The Wheel of Fortune is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion, good fortune, and blessings. This is the universe confirming that you've paid your dues, you've learned your lessons, you've done your healing work, and now it's time for your reward. Many of you have been feeling impatient, wondering why love hasn't arrived yet when you've been ready for so long, questioning if maybe you're doing something wrong or if you're destined to be alone. The Wheel of Fortune is here to tell you that you're not doing anything wrong and you're absolutely not meant for solitude. You're simply in transition, moving from one chapter to the next. The wheel is literally turning right now in this very moment. Things are shifting behind the scenes. Connections are being aligned. Circumstances are being arranged. Your person is on their own journey too, doing their own healing, learning their own lessons, becoming who they need to be to meet you at your level and match your energy. The fourth sign that you're meeting your true love is going to be a sense of divine timing and meaningful synchronicity surrounding your meeting. Maybe you almost didn't go to the event or place where you met them, but something made you change your plans at the last minute. Maybe you meet them right after a significant ending or major life transition. Maybe there are repeating numbers appearing everywhere, or symbols that keep showing up, or strange coincidences that feel too meaningful to dismiss. Maybe mutual friends have been trying to introduce you for months, but the timing never aligned until this exact moment when you're both ready. The Wheel of Fortune says, when it's meant to be, when it's real, the universe conspires to make it happen. You're going to look back and see how everything had to unfold exactly the way it did to bring you two together at precisely the right time. Trust the timing, even when it frustrates you. Trust the process, even when you can't see the full picture. Trust that your wheel is turning toward joy, toward love, toward partnership, toward everything your heart has been longing for. The delays weren't denials. The waiting wasn't wasted time. Everything was preparation. Everything was necessary. And now, finally, the wheel turns in your favor. The seventh card flies in, and it's the Eight of Wands, and the energy just accelerated dramatically. If the Wheel of Fortune was about trusting divine timing, the Eight of Wands is about rapid movement and swift progress once that timing clicks into place. This card shows 8 wands flying through clear blue sky toward their destination, with nothing blocking their path. everything aligned for quick forward momentum. Cancer, after your period of waiting and healing, things are about to move fast. The kind of fast that might surprise you, that might even feel overwhelming in the best possible way. When the universe decides it's time, when your wheel turns to the right position, things don't trickle in slowly. They flood in all at once. The Eight of Wands suggests your meeting with this person might happen suddenly, unexpectedly, at a time when you're not even actively looking for love. Or perhaps you meet in a conventional way, but the relationship progresses quickly because you both just know. There's no need for games or artificial pacing or playing it cool to protect yourselves. You're both mature enough and healed enough to recognize what you have and move forward with confidence. This rapid movement might manifest as intense communication early on. Maybe you're texting constantly throughout the day, talking for hours at night, unable to get enough of each other's company and conversation. That exchange of energy is going to feel electric and exciting. You're going to feel alive in ways you haven't felt in years, maybe ever. But here's what's important to understand. This speed doesn't mean the relationship is superficial or that you're rushing into something unhealthy. You've developed the discernment of the Page of Swords, remember? You're not losing your head just because things are moving quickly. You're simply trusting your instincts when everything in you says yes, this is right, this is real, this is what I've been waiting for. The Eight of Wands also speaks to momentum in all areas of your life, not just romance. When true love enters, when that energy starts flowing properly in your romantic life, it tends to overflow into everything else. You might notice your career suddenly taking off, or a creative project gaining unexpected traction, or a long-standing problem finally resolving itself. Love energy is creative energy, and when it's flowing healthily in one area, it elevates everything. People are going to notice a change in you, a glow, a lightness, a renewed sense of purpose and vitality. You're going to feel more inspired, more motivated, more engaged with life. What you need to prepare for is being ready to move when opportunity presents itself. The Eight of Wands requires you to catch those flying wands when they arrive. This means being willing to say yes to invitations, even when it feels safer to stay home. This means being open to connections that might not look exactly like what you pictured. This means trusting the momentum instead of overthinking or self-sabotaging or talking yourself out of something good because you're afraid of being hurt again. When the wands are flying true toward their target, you have to be ready to receive them. Don't let fear or doubt make you duck when blessing is headed your way. The eighth card reveals itself, and it's the Page of Pentacles. And this energy is so grounded and practical after the swift movement of the Eight of Wands. The Page of Pentacles shows a young figure studying a pentacle with complete focus and dedication, standing in a plowed field ready for planting. This is earth energy, steady and patient, committed to growth through consistent effort. While the Eight of Wands showed things moving quickly, the Page of Pentacles shows the patience and dedication required to nurture what's been started into something lasting. This card is revealing something important about how your person approaches life and relationships. They're a student of love in the best possible way. They're willing to learn, to grow, to put in the work required to build something real. They understand that initial chemistry and compatibility are just the beginning. Real partnership requires ongoing attention, communication, effort, and care. The Page of Pentacles studies that pentacle so carefully, and this is how your person is going to study you. They're going to pay attention to what makes you happy, what triggers your insecurities, how you communicate when you're upset, what you need when you're stressed. They're learning you, investing in understanding you deeply. There's also a practical, grounded quality to this person that's going to be incredibly stabilizing for you. They're not all dreams and no follow-through. They're not making grand promises they can't keep. They're showing up in tangible, real-world ways. Maybe they're good with money and help you create financial stability. Maybe they're handy and fix things around your home. Maybe they're organized and help you implement systems that make daily life easier. Whatever form it takes, they're contributing to building an actual life with you, not just enjoying romantic moments while ignoring practical realities. The fifth sign that this person is truly yours is going to be their dedication to growth, both personal and relational. They're not stagnant. They're not someone who thinks they've already learned everything they need to know about relationships or life. The page is always a student, always learning, always willing to be taught. When you express a need or concern, they don't get defensive. They listen, they consider, they work on themselves. When patterns emerge that aren't healthy, they're willing to look at their part and make changes. This humility and willingness to grow is what allows love to deepen over time, instead of growing stale. What I'm also picking up is that this person might be building something significant in their own life. Maybe they're working toward a career goal, or developing a skill, or creating a business. They have their own dreams and ambitions, and they're putting in the work to achieve them. This is attractive to you because you don't want someone who makes you their entire world. You want a partner with their own purpose, their own passions, their own life that they're actively building. And they're going to see you as someone who enhances that life, who supports their growth while also pursuing your own dreams. This creates a dynamic partnership where you're both growing individually and together. The ninth card appears, and it's the Five of Pentacles, and Cancer. We need to talk about something tender and vulnerable here. The Five of Pentacles traditionally shows two figures walking through snow past a lit church window, representing hardship, feeling left out in the cold, spiritual and material poverty. In the context of your love reading, this card is bringing up a fear that still lives in you, a wound that needs acknowledgement, even as you're healing and moving forward. There's a part of you that's afraid this won't work out, a part that's scared you're going to end up alone again, that true love is something other people experience, but not you, that you're somehow fundamentally flawed or unworthy of the partnership you desire. This is the voice of past pain talking, the accumulated weight of disappointments, trying to protect you from hoping too much. The Five of Pentacles activates when you start to open your heart again. It's that moment of panic that whispers, maybe you should close back down. Maybe it's safer to not want anything. Maybe expecting good things is just setting yourself up for devastation. But here's what the cards want you to see. That church window in the Five of Pentacles is lit. Help, warmth, shelter, and sanctuary are available. You've never been as alone as you've felt. The universe has always been supporting you, guiding you, holding you, even when you couldn't see it or feel it. Those moments when you felt most abandoned were actually moments when you were being carried. The hardship wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Every difficult experience taught you something essential about what you need, what you deserve, what real love looks like, versus what trauma bonding or codependency masquerades as. The sixth sign that someone is your true love is going to be how they handle your vulnerability and your wounds. When you share your fears with them, when you have moments of insecurity or need reassurance, they don't weaponize that vulnerability against you. They don't minimize your feelings or make you feel crazy for having them. They don't get frustrated that you're not completely healed yet. Instead, they hold space for all of you, the strong parts and the scared parts, the confident moments and the doubtful ones. They reassure you through consistent action, not just empty words. They understand that healing isn't linear, that even as you're growing and becoming healthier, there will be moments when old fears surface, and they're patient with that process. They're committed to you through it. This person has their own Five of Pentacles story. They also know what it's like to feel left out in the cold, to struggle, to wonder if good things are possible for them. This shared understanding of hardship creates a foundation of compassion and empathy between you. You're not going to judge each other for having wounds or fears or moments of weakness. You're going to extend grace and patience because you both know how hard the journey has been. This mutual understanding is what allows you to build something tender and safe together, a relationship that becomes the warm sanctuary represented by that lit church window. The final card, the 10th card in your reading, and Cancer, it's the Seven of Swords. Now, this might seem like an odd card to end on, because traditionally the Seven of Swords represents deception, strategy, sneaking around, hidden agendas. But in this context, this card is bringing up something crucial for you to understand before true love fully arrives. The figure in this card is sneaking away from a camp carrying swords, and there's a sense of someone taking what they want through cunning rather than honesty. What this card is revealing is a pattern you absolutely must break before you can fully receive and sustain the love coming toward you. You have a history of deceiving yourself about people and situations. Not because you're naive or stupid, but because your heart is so open and your capacity for love is so vast that you sometimes see potential instead of reality. You ignore red flags because you want so badly for someone to be the one. You make excuses for behavior that doesn't deserve excuses. You convince yourself that someone's words matter more than their actions, or that their inconsistency is just them being scared of how much they like you. The seventh and final sign that someone is truly your person is this. You won't have to talk yourself into it. You won't have to explain away their behavior to your friends who are concerned. You won't have to defend them or justify staying with them. You won't have to convince yourself that what you're experiencing is love when it feels nothing like the peaceful, secure love you've always wanted. With wrong people, you've performed mental gymnastics, creating elaborate explanations for why they do what they do. The Seven of Swords is here to say, no more. You're done with that energy forever. Your true love is going to be so straightforward, so honest, so transparent, that there's no mystery about where you stand or how they feel. Everything is clear and above board. No sneaking around, no deception, no games, no strategic moves designed to keep you off balance or maintain power. They're going to value honesty as much as you do, understanding that trust is built through consistent transparency. When something is bothering them, they talk to you about it directly instead of acting passive-aggressive or pulling away without explanation. When they're happy with you, they express it clearly through words and actions. When they need something from the relationship, they ask for it instead of expecting you to read their mind. The Seven of Swords also serves as a warning about people from your past who might try to resurface as you're moving into this new energy. Sometimes when you're about to level up in love, old connections attempt to come back, testing whether you've really changed, whether you've actually learned your lessons. These could be exes reaching out with carefully crafted messages, or people who previously weren't available, suddenly seeming interested now that you're becoming unavailable emotionally, or new people who display the same red flags as past disappointments, just packaged differently. You know better now. You can see the games, the manipulation, the strategic movements designed to get what they want while giving you as little as possible in return. You're not falling for it anymore. The discernment you've developed through the Page of Swords, combined with the healing you've done from the Five of Cups, has made you wise to these tactics. You're not becoming cynical or hardened. You're becoming boundaried and discerning. There's a significant difference. You can still be loving and open, while also being clear about what you will and won't accept. The Seven of Swords is that part of you that's learned to trust your instincts, to honor gut feelings that tell you when something is off, to walk away from situations that don't serve you regardless of how much potential they seem to have. Cancer, let me bring all of this together for you, because the story these 10 cards have told is so clear and so beautiful. True love is approaching, and you're going to recognize them through very specific signs that your soul will respond to before your mind can even articulate why. First, You're in a completely transformed emotional place. You've processed the grief of the Five of Cups, released what didn't serve you, and opened yourself to possibility again from a healed foundation. Second, clear and honest communication flows naturally, shown by the Page of Swords. No games, no confusion, no having to guess where you stand. Third, they reignite your joy and passion for life, like the Page of Wands promised, making you feel lighter and more hopeful without dismissing your depth. Fourth, there's undeniable chemistry and attraction represented by the Ace of Wands. But this time, you have the wisdom to build something lasting with that initial spark. Fifth, through the Page of Pentacles, they demonstrate dedication to growth and practical investment in building a real life with you. Sixth, true reciprocity and balance shown in the Six of Pentacles means you're not the only one giving and trying and caring anymore. Seventh, the timing feels divinely orchestrated by the Wheel of Fortune, with synchronicities confirming this is meant to be. Eighth, things move quickly once you connect, shown by the Eight of Wands, because when it's right, there's no need for artificial pacing. Ninth, they understand your wounds and hold space for your vulnerability as the Five of Pentacles revealed, creating safety for all parts of you. And 10th, the Seven of Swords taught you to recognize authenticity versus deception, so you'll know this person is real because everything about them is transparent and honest. My beautiful Cancer, hold on to hope even when it feels scary to want something this much. Keep your heart open even though opening it means risking pain. Trust that everything you've been through has prepared you for this. You're not who you were when you got hurt before. You've grown, healed, and developed wisdom that will serve you forever. Because of that growth, you're finally ready to attract and recognize true love when it arrives. Don't settle for less than what these cards showed you. Don't go back to old patterns or old people just because waiting feels hard. Your person is worth the wait. More importantly, you're worth waiting for the right person who can meet you at your level and match your devotion. Trust the universe's timing. Trust your intuition. Trust that when it's real, you'll know it in your bones, in your soul. In that deep knowing that Cancer energy is so beautifully gifted at accessing. Your true love is coming, and it's going to be everything your heart has been aching for. Real, honest, balanced, passionate, committed, and worth every moment you waited and every lesson you learned to become ready for it. Take what resonates from this reading and leave what doesn't. I'm sending you so much love and so many blessings on your journey. Thank you for being here with me today.